2.5 weeks away from the NFL trade deadline. We're less than 24 hours away from Week 7 Dolphins-Browns football. And before we get to that game on Sunday, we are going to answer the latest questions on the Dolphins, whether it's coaching staff, rumors, draft. So buckle up. I'm Nic Rohloff. This is Dolphins Today by Chat Sports. We'll start with our guy, Jonathan Soto, with a $5 super chat on Thursday's live show, which is where we do our mailbags, by the way. Do you think Chris Grier could commit career suicide by screwing the Dolphins over by trading players for nothing, knowing he is out of Miami? I understand that concern, but absolutely not. Because even if he wanted to commit career suicide, he is not able to. Because if Stephen Ross or the Dolphins caught wind that Grier was purposefully making bad deals to hurt the Dolphins long term, and trading players away for nothing, one, you would be able to fire Grier on the spot for probable cause. And almost anything that he did in that alleged span would be able to be vetoed or overturned. Or if Ross got wind of it while it was happening, he could just give it the good old Xavier Howard, not going to happen. Like if he heard Jaylen Waddle was about to be traded to the Giants for a 4th-round pick, Stephen Ross would be like, what are you doing? You're gone, and we're not doing that. So, I don't think you really have to be concerned about that. If Grier makes a bad deal, it's because he's actually just bad at his job, which we know he is. So, it's a little bit concerning. I mentioned that Week 7 game. We will be live, despite bad football being played. We're here to break it down and watch it every single week. Live at noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time. This is our thumbnail, so if you see it, click on it and join us for our Dolphins-Browns Week 7 watch party. Sergio Barrera. Hire Jon Gruden, develop Quinn Ewers. Even though this is to the delight of our own producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein, a Texas alum. Oh, wait a minute. No. Just a diehard Texas fan. Attended North Texas, if you didn't know. Ewers is not the future. It was fun to watch him in the preseason. He's a fun young guy. But, there was nothing that was displayed in the preseason that made you think he could be that type of dude. Even when you've seen the day 3 picks come out of nowhere and be franchise guys, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, you see the flashes immediately in the preseason. I don't think we saw that from Quinn. We saw a lot of up and down play, a lot of inaccurate balls thrown, a lot of sloppy footwork, holding onto the football a little bit too much. The highs were high. That game against the Lions, awesome. But Week 1 and Week 3 in the preseason, they were bad. You can't seriously believe he is a guy that you can trust to be your future QB1. If you do move on from Tua, which I do believe is an inevitable factor with a new coach and GM in the next year and a half, it will likely come by that new regime drafting their own guy in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round in the next couple of drafts. And when it comes to Jon Gruden, no, I've said this a lot. I don't want anyone coming from the media. I think media talking heads are just boosted up in fans' minds. I would rather go for a guy like Jesse Minter, like Mike McCarthy. Vance Joseph is an even better option. I'm not in on Jon Gruden. Cameron, why did Grier and Ross give Tua such a big contract just because he had 2 good years and can't stay healthy? Well, I can give you the real answer. And it's why I actually, and I'm owning up to this, and it was a mistake by my end. So I don't claim to shoot 100% on my opinions. I'm just letting you know that. I try to shoot as high as possible, but can't go 100%. I advocated for the Dolphins to extend Tua when they did. And I thought it was a fair deal at the time. Tua came off his career year, played 17 games, led the NFL in passing, 10-win season for Miami in 2023. Entering final year of his deal in 2024. So when you extend them before that season, you are under the line of thinking where it's like, okay, Tua just had this phenomenal top 10 QB type of season, led us to the playoffs. If he does that again, and he backs it up and has a 2nd straight year of having that production in success where we make the playoffs, well, instead of paying him $52, $53 million a year, was what he's getting paid, we might have to pay him $56, $57 million per year, $365 later. So that is why. They tried to project Tua continuing to improve, continuing to stay healthy. and save themselves a total of about $20 to $30 million in that contract, it backfired. Nothing else to say about that. It did. It's why I advocated it. I thought he was going to continue that success. Not the case. Not the case. I think that I don't want to blame head injuries, but I really do think that week 2 concussion against the Bills on Thursday Night Football really was the end of Tua. Because ever since then, it's been bad all the way around. Decision making, like media speaking, like ever since then it's been bad. Because remember that week 1 game against Jacksonville, he threw for over 300, 2 tutties, and they got to come from behind and win. Which player is the most likely to be traded, though, before the trade deadline? Let me know your thoughts. Anthony, realistically, if it's true that the Giants want Jaylen Waddle, would you be okay with getting Kayvon Thibodeaux and a second-round pick? See, that's interesting. I said that a second and a fifth-round pick would be absolutely insulting. I stand by that statement. You get a second-round pick in Tibbs, who's probably worth, what do you think he's worth, Coop? A second or third in his own right? Former top 10 pick. Now, the thing with Thibodeaux is he's playing on the last year of his deal, if I'm not mistaken. 5th-year option. So you'd have to pay him. Got to be honest, I'm probably still saying no to that. Tibbs has had a really good season for New York so far, but he's also been working with Brian Burns and Abdul Carter. Is he able to be a lead guy? He was a very meh player over the past couple of years for the Giants. I'll be honest, I say no. I don't want to pay Thibodeaux, and I think he's going to ask for a lot of money. So I say no to that. Mr. Buttflakes, returning with a question. He was on last week's Mailbag. Did you see that Waddle started to delete some IG photos of Dolphins? Where are some of the places that he could go? I did see in the speculation in the report out there is that he removed Miami from his bio. Now, I'm looking at his Instagram right now. He did not remove Dolphin stuff from his bio, from his Instagram, as I'll show you on the IG right now. You see a lot of Dolphin stuff there, right? So it's not like he removed Dolphin stuff from his Instagram. The speculation is that he just removed Miami from his Twitter or his Instagram bio, and then he posted a photo for the first time since September 22nd, and it was the first time since November 15th, 2024, so almost a year, where he posted a photo that was not an advertisement, and it just was a bunch of slides of him in Dolphins gear and walking in the stadium. Does that mean anything? Maybe. Does it mean nothing? Possibly. If he did get traded, I think the 3 most likely destinations would be the New York Giants, Atlanta Falcons, and Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't think he gets traded, though, and I hope he doesn't get traded either. I would not deal him away. More questions to answer here, but this episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day. The right decision on PrizePicks can get you paid where it is good to be right. How you play is up to you. If you want flexibility, choose FlexPlay, where you can get paid even if one of your picks misses. And if you want the biggest payouts, go for the Power Play. No matter how you play, PrizePicks is a great way to put your takes to the test. Which players are going off, which ones are overhyped. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on PrizePicks. By entry for Week 7, more than Devon Achane rushing attempts, less than Dylan Gabriel 30.5 longest completion, more than Quinshon Judkins rushing yards, and less than Tua Tagovailoa longest completion. It's supposed to be very windy, up to potentially 50-mile-per-hour winds. It's supposed to be rainy. I think it's going to be a low-scoring, run-heavy game, which is why I like Achane and Judkins a lot, and don't think the passing game is going to be that good for 2 quarterbacks that don't have the biggest arms. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Jose Arroyo with a question. Based on the excessive player and blue chip needs, should the Dolphins trade down in the first round of 2026 draft to pick up more capital? It's very dependent on where they are picking and where they would be trading down to, because that is a smart line of thinking. But like, here's the thing as well: if you're picking like 5th overall and you're getting offered the 15th pick, you better be getting like another first and like a second to move back 10 spots. You know what I'm saying? Like in the future. And it also depends, like if you're picking inside the top 3 and you go like, say 3 and 14 this year and you're picking the top 3, I'm probably not moving down because I'd like to stay there and go with one of the QBs, whether it is Fernando Mendoza or Lenora Sellers, who are my top 2 guys. Dante Moore and Ty Simpson are rising up the ranks. But you might want to move on from Tua with a new head coach and GM in all likelihood, and they might want to get their young guy. So you probably don't want to trade down. But if you're picking like 7 and you can move back from 7 to 11 and pick up a future second or a second in this year's draft where you have 2 second-round picks now, okay, now we're talking. So it's very much dependent on where you're picking and where you would trade down from. But I am certainly open to it. This is the most interactive Dolphins community on YouTube. We answer your questions on videos. We answer your questions in the live chat, on live shows, community. We do it all here at Chat Sports Dolphins Today. So subscribe today for daily Dolphins coverage. Axie, thoughts on Fernando Mendoza as a Tua replacement? I think he is topping Lenora Sellers as my top guy. Said last week on a video, Lenora Sellers is my QB1 at the moment. His play has continued to decrease, but it's more of a traits thing with him. 6'4", 240, runs a 4.4 40-yard dash, got a cannon of arm, can make every throw. He's durable, dual threat. I really like Sellers. But with Mendoza continuing to look good every single week, it's hard to not like him, right? 6'5", 225. He's got a quick release, really strong arm, accurate down the football field, doesn't put the ball in harm's way often. He can make plays with his legs. I'm not going to call him a dual threat, but he's very mobile. Certainly not like a statue in the pocket. And you wonder if the RPO type of offense that Indiana runs makes it very easy for him to find success. But I do really like Fernando Mendoza. I think he's got all the makings of a QB1. The size, the arm talent, it's there, man. It is. And I think he makes good decisions. Also from Miami. How about that? Like, I think Mendoza is one of 2 guys that I would take inside the top 5. Right now, if I had a top 5 pick and I was going quarterback, I'm only going either Sellers or Mendoza. I know there's a lot of buzz on Dante Moore right now. Maybe more will come out. I don't know. I don't see it. I really don't. In on Mendoza. How likely is it that we trade Jaylen Wright? I go 50-50. I think that's fair. It's very dependent on what happens with Devon Achane. Like, if the Dolphins go full sell mode and trade Devon Achane, you probably keep Jaylen Wright, and you're like, okay, we'll go with Ollie Gordon and Jaylen Wright as our 2 running backs the rest of the year and going forward. But if you're keeping Devon Achane, which you probably should, and I want to do, then, yeah, you trade Jaylen Wright for a 6th or 7th round pick or do a pick swap because he's got no future in Miami. Because your running back duo, the future is Achane and it's Ollie Gordon. So there's no use for Jaylen Wright. But if you trade Achane, well, then you probably should keep Jaylen Wright. So we'll see. We know the Chiefs have been looking for a running back. We know the Chargers have been looking for a running back. We'll see if they call Miami for Jaylen Wright. We'll see if they call Miami for Devon Achane. But either way, I do think it's about 50-50 on Wright being dealt before that November 4th deadline. You didn't get your question on today's show? You can ask a question in our DMs over on Instagram. Dolphins Today IG is our handle. We also post more content over there in between our YouTube shows, whether it's just stats, reels, photos. We got it all. So go give us a follow at Dolphins Today IG.